Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. It's been a while, but I'm back with replay featurings, and today Paul2070 from the same clan as I am, TRFNX, stands for Trefnix, so hit nothing, actually demonstrate quite the opposite with the big German bathtub that is the Sturer Emil, which is most famously for the gun handling of the enormously large, big and nasty 128mm K.40 gun. And he delivers his performance in an environment that is not really that suited for the Sturer Emil. He actually brings this very big sniper gun to a shotgun fiesta in a city knife fight. And that can only end one way for that ASU-57 that we see in the background. And oof. That's just nothing left of this tank. But that is to be expected because it's not just a big gun, but it's also a gun that is overall rather similar to the Jagdtiger's 128mm, at least when we look at the ammunition. So basically you have an HE shell that is nasty by itself with 37mm of penetration, but here Paul has an all loadout of Panzergranate 43, the PZGR-43 APCBC with 880 meters per second muzzle velocity. It is actually pretty good at range because it keeps the penetration up quite by a bit, but still delivering nearly 800 grams of TNT equivalent bursting charge, which is just obscene. And at point blank range, it has close to 250 millimeters of penetration, and at 1,000 meters, still 220 millimeters. Thanks to its large caliber, it also has, for this battle rating, good performance versus angled armor. And here there is a little bit of a replay bug going on with the reload times, but this is his third kill. And how this KV1, just don't ask. So he is holding the line. B is firmly in the hands of the enemy, and he just waits for the reload, which is quite long even for a fully trained ace crew. It's just under 15 seconds and you only have 15 rounds, so that wasted shell actually is potentially a problem. We will see. The tank is open topped, so every aircraft can kill it with a light machine gun, and you have no light machine gun, heavy machine gun whatsoever yourself. The gun handling is pretty poor, aside from the 15 degrees of gun depression, but it all kind of gets balanced by this massive firepower if the enemy finds itself on the receiving end of this, again, very huge and nasty gun. Historically, there were actually two built, I think, and they were ordered to shoot at targets that were at least a kilometer away in order to be able to validate the impact. So whereas at that time, when it first was deployed, what's that? Was straight through the middle, obliterating the entirety of the enemy tank completely. The crew, the ammo racks, up until the engine, the shrapnels just don't take any prisoners. But yeah, when this were deployed, this is when I think the Panzer IV F2 was just coming around. This was when the Panzer III was still taking the main brunt of T-34 fights in the east. So this is just a completely absurd testbed for this gun, basically. And yeah, the gun handling is a problem for tanks like that. Hello, aircraft. And now we can see Paul entering actually the cap, leading the charge in what is at best a support sniper. He could be flanked at any moment, and it seems like he's aware of the risk. So he is currently decapping, and then the enemy team is capping behind him. He sees a machine gun coming by, and then he reverses. The Sherman just missed, but he wants some more, and he gets some more. Again, it just never gets old. I'm sorry about this, but this is what I love about War Thunder. Just ending the existence of enemy tanks like this. There are derp tanks in War Thunder that are just deeply satisfying. We all know the two British tanks, the Centurion AVRE and the FE4005, which use just absurdly large hash rounds. Then we have the HE dubs like the KV2 is the most famous one, Sturmpanzer 2, Horo, I guess. There are just low tier tanks that have enormously big howitzers, but this is an actual anti-tank gun. So I also love, for example, the interior being visible with those huge shells, and also the propellant charges being absurdly large, explaining why you don't have that much. And that KV-1E, wow. Some other shells might have bounced, but this round just didn't. And now again, a cab gets contested behind him, and again, despite his limited mobility in terms of low horsepower to ton ratio, below 10 actually, a limited top speed, bad maneuverability, etc., he takes up some speed, looks around where the enemy is, and then he hears him, and now let's see who's boss. Yeah, if you show the back to the enemy, there is just nothing left inside of the enemy tank. It's just gone. It's just pulverized. And again, it just doesn't get old. So I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record. Well, probably the enemy is even more broken. And this is when, again, he caps or begins to cap for the second time. No, it's actually interrupted and he desperately tries to turn around. We actually can see 3 tanks thanks to the replay, and that was some nice snapshotting, and that explosion was so terrifying that the M5A1 just runs away. Paul anticipates him trying to flank him, but then, yeah, that was a little bit of a reverse psychology, and then the gun barrel of the dead Panzer IV saves him. There is another tank coming, and then to the rescue comes a Panzer IV missing the first shot. He concentrates on this one, and then he fires at the gun barrel, the shell explodes and just showers the M5 in shrapnel before he then gets obliterated by the very helpful Panzer IV. You remember the ASU 57 from the start of the game? Just look at the size difference of what is more or less the same concept. Well, the Sturer Emil is obviously not airdrop, but it's such a large tank and the armor is so thin. And that M22, he received so much damage that he will spawn dead with the next tank. Oh my god, that was filthy. And can you believe it? He actually needs to stay in cap to get some ammo back because he has only 2 rounds out of 15 left, and he already picked up 2 caps, 1 assist and 11 kills. That would be a spectacular result with a complete lineup, and he did it so far with a sniper tank in what is close quarters knife fighting. Sure, there is always luck, but then there is also some lags going on in the replay. Yeah, War Thunder servers are currently not really performing that nicely, but he's not done yet. That's the mean part about it. And oh, what is that? Is that a KV2? It was a KV2. And again, there is nothing left inside of the enemy tank. Now what we can see is also now the benefit of the replay. We just saw a shell whizzing by, and we can clearly see the M4A4. Then he spots him, he has to turn, and oof, just going through the upper glacis, the turret ring and the turret armor, and then still obliterating everything inside of the enemy tank. Another shell might not have gotten the penetration, but this is, well, closer to the Jagdtiger's APHE, which sits over 2 battle ratings higher. And to be honest, this tank probably has a better time here than the Jagdtiger has at 6.7. So it's this entire tank destroyer line within the German tech tree that is so weird at the same time, because you go from one extreme to the other. Now, it starts with the LPZSPWG SPZB 41 SDKFZ 221. That's its actual German name and just a short variant. Then to the Sturmpanzer 2, the Panzerjäger 1, which is quite normal, I'd say. Then we go to the first Puma. Then we go to the Marder, then the Dicke Max, which is overall very similar to the Sturer Emil. And between the Dicke Max and the Sturer Emil, we get the 8.8 cm Flak 37 Selbstfallerfette auf 18 Tonnen Zugkraftwagen. German names back in the days. And then it goes to the Nason, which brings a long 88 to 5.3. Then there is also the Waffenträger with a long 88 at 5.7. And then we get the M41 and then Marder and high tier stuff. But this thing is now in the position to load the last APCBC round. He already has 14 kill after just ending the existence of this Russian heavy tank through the rounded side of the turret, which is deeply satisfying. There is a big smoke screen up ahead. He points his gun into the direction, and as ordered, another Su-152 to just end the road to the triple ace. And now he's out of ammo and uses the awful reverse gear under the cover of his team to just get the hell out. That game is decided. That game was very well played and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And wow, was this a joy to watch for the first time, and even when watching it for probably the 5th time, it never gets old. Paul2070, thank you for not honoring our clan name, and thank you for this very well played replay. Thank you for sending it in via email, which you guys can also find in the video description down below. And that's it for me today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, Paul, congratulations to this fantastic result. And we will see each other hopefully soon on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.